everyone, my name is Melissa from Inspire Me ASAP. In today's video, I want to share with you how you can create reading rotations for the independent reading time of your reading workshop block. Once your students understand the structure of Reader's Workshop, which going back to one of the previous videos, I shared how the structure of Reading Workshop begins with a about 10 minute mini lesson. Students then transition to the independent work time or the differentiated work time, and that can last anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes depending on the grade level of your students. And then finally, wrapping up with closing or sharing time, which is about 5 minutes. Once your students understand the structure of how Reader's Workshop is organized, you are then ready to introduce reading rotations with your students. Now, in my own second grade classroom, I have tried a variety of different stations, centers, rotations, whatever it was, that I called it. It kind of all meant the same thing. What were the students going to be doing during that differentiated work time? I taught the mini lesson, and now my students are ready to apply what I taught in the mini lesson to their own independent reading time. Over the years of me using Reader's Workshop in my classroom, I really discovered that what worked best for my students was keeping it simple. And what keeping it simple looks like for me is to have my students rotate to 3 different rotations. So all students in my class go to 3 rotations. They are called reading partnerships, read with the teacher, and independent reading. So when I am done teaching the mini lesson, depending on what group my students are in, they start with their first rotation. Now in this example, you'll see that I have read with the teacher 3 times, and that means that I have each group of readers meeting with the teacher. In this example, this is actually how I structured my reading block last year. I had a co-teacher in my classroom, and I also had a student teacher that I was working with. So for me, it made sense, and it was very realistic for me to be able to meet with all of my students every reading group every day. And if it wasn't me personally, it was my co-teacher, for example. Another way that you might want to look at the Read the Teacher block of time is if you have a group of students who meet with a reading interventionist at your school, or they meet with a reading teacher at their school to provide some additional reading support. Another rotation that I have in my classroom is reading partnerships. And simply put, reading partnerships is when 2 students at similar reading levels are put together for a long-term partnership. They read to build their fluency, and they read for enjoyment together. They are not picking a different partner every day. I assign reading partners, and we stick with that reading partner for a long-term basis, meaning at least 1 or 2 quarters. The last rotation is then independent reading time. And during that time is when students are at their seats or in their just right spot, and they are reading books that are just right, because remember, I already taught that mini lesson about how just right books fit like a glove. So they're reading books from their book nook that fit like a glove. Now, this is where when teachers are asking me, in a couple of the other videos that I had, teachers were wondering, how do you fit in guided reading? And where does guided reading work in a reading workshop approach? So in this example right here, with the different reading rotations, you could see how right here I would have my guided reading groups. And maybe if it's not a guided reading group for that particular day, maybe it's a reading conference with a student. Or maybe I'm taking a running record on 1 or 2 students in my reading group. I hope this helped answer some questions about the different rotations that I have for my students in my reading workshop block in my own second grade classroom. Please feel free to contact me if you have any additional questions I didn't answer. And if you're interested in anything I have pointed to in my video today, you can find the links below this video. Thank you.